Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Atlantic Arrival.
My name is Maruf, your host for today, and
My name is Aduke.
we would love to talk about something very important that every single international student goes through while coming in the border of Canada, the documentation maze. So we have a lot of documentation that we have to maintain, and we both have been an international student, and we know what we had to go through. So today we're going to talk about that, and I want to start by asking a question. What is the first thing that we should carry with us?
When you're first coming into Canada, now, the first thing I need you to do is your passport.
Right.
Because that's like the only thing that is even going to make you be able to fly out of your home country into another country. But you need to bring along your proof of funds.
Yes.
That's your bank statement, and make sure you have money in your account, because anything can happen during the course of your flights from your home country down here to Canada. So you do not want to be caught unawares.
One thing I wanted to add with the proof of fund is
Yeah.
that you have to also show the proof of payment for the academic institution that you're getting into.
Yeah,
you
that's-
definitely have paid. Some institutions ask for a semester worth of payment in advance. Some ask for a year. So you have to submit and you have to show that you have done the payment.
Yeah.
So keep it along with the proof of fund.
So that's going to show that there's a level of commitment from you to the college or the university that you're going to.
Now that we have covered the financial part, the payment stuffs are all
Yeah.
done, documents related to your academic institution. So
Yeah.
your letter of acceptance, of course, and your letter of intent, the one that you wrote and you explain why you want to come here. Those two documents are very important, and these are, I would say, 99.9% chances that the officer will ask for these.
So the thing is, you don't want to leave anything to chances. You have to make sure that you're very prepared. Canada is a country that there is something they usually say, that ignorance is not an excuse. You have to know all the rules about the country you're coming into. So you need to understand that these documents, as much as you've already submitted them to IRCC, the CBSA officer also has that legal right to ask you for these documents as well. So it is very important for you to note that you need to bring all these documents with you. Everything, just, it's never too much, because they can ask you any questions at the border.
We had situations where a friend of mine actually
Really?
forgot to show their photo as a hard copy.
What picture?
The picture, the passport size photo that people need to carry. So they don't really ask it, but the one CBSA officer asked, and she was not able to give it, and she was questioned, and she got very nervous. So what she did, she actually showed the passport size photo from her phone and showed it to the officer,
Yeah.
just so that the officer is satisfied. I mean, it's nothing
But
important.
that seems very strange.
That's
because
I have a
you
lot of strange stories that I could tell.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because you have your international passport as a means of identification that shows everything. So what do you need a passport size photograph in?
I don't know. In my case, when I came, I studied a lot of resources, and I found out that it's good to have your photos with you, and I bought maybe 20 pieces of copy that I never needed to use since I landed in Canada.
Yes, because
We
you
don't
don't
need
need
that.
anything.
I know, I
They
know.
never ask you, except when you're applying for PR.
Keeping that is a good idea, of course, just a suggestion.
That's strange. Please, if you guys are coming, just make sure you're more than prepared
Yes.
to answer any form of questions, because they will question you. There's been a lot of issues about people migrating to Canada and not having the right intent. Of course, there are also people that would come into Canada to study, but at the end of the day, they do not end up going to school, and some of them seek for asylum. We've heard cases like that, but the job of the CBSE officer at the port of entry is to verify that everything you have right there is correct. Another thing they also add when you get to the border is your proof of address when you're going. For example, some people say they are coming into Canada for a conference, but they do not know where they are going to stay. That's a red flag that you need to be very careful of, so that they don't send you back. I've heard people that actually were sent back to their home country because they could not provide this proof of address. If you're coming to Canada, you say you're coming for a conference and you don't know where you're going, you don't have an accommodation, I think that one of the reasons why they do this is for you not to be a burden on the system. Because of course you're coming here, you've not even started paying taxes. So they don't owe you any allegiance to they have to take care of you or whatever.
Exactly.
Even though in quotes you're now in their country, they have to look out for you. But then they are trying to make sure that you are not so much of a burden on the system that is already in place for the people that are already living in Canada.
So what she said, proof of address, if you have a house or an apartment that you are renting, you have to have a lease agreement.
Even if it is Airbnb,
even if it's Airbnb,
that you're
you
going
have
to
the
just you have
Airbnb
to show
documentation.
exactly.
And even if you're staying at a hotel, you have the hotel receipts. And if you are staying at your friend's place, for example,
They
you
have
need to have that
prove,
address
prove
as
that
well.
exactly.
So they will definitely check. Remember, in Canada, every single household is recorded in a system that the CBSA officers can
They have access to. Yeah.
So one thing that we missed regarding the payment stuff, the GIC.
Okay.
So countries that are eligible for student direct stream, if they use the GIC, they should bring the GIC certification as well. And also probably not applicable for you because you come from an English speaking country. People who are coming from a non-English speaking country, you need to also bring in your language test results, for example the IELTS.
IELTS, yeah. The GIC is more like a block account to show that you have an investment or you have the money you claim to say you have, so they can be very satisfied that you're not going to be a burden on the system, because living in Canada is an extreme sport, especially if you're coming from a country where labor is cheap, so many things are cheap and affordable. Here we pay a lot of taxes, things are pretty much quite expensive. And if you think that $10,000 is going to
get you everywhere,
it's going to make you feel like you're the chairman, you're the oga, most of the times it doesn't happen, because right now the cost of accommodation now, New Brunswick is almost leveraging with those places, and by the time you start paying your rent, you start paying for some other things, and the taxes they bill you. It's like you're literally working for the government. That's how I see it, because I'm working, my income is taxed before my employer gives me the income or they pay me my income or whatever. It is being taxed 15%, I think.
Your income tax depends on your income slab, but what she's trying to say
but
is
then
your
they
income
tax you
and your expense.
and your
everything
expense,
is taxed.
everything is taxed. For
Everything.
example, even if you're buying a house, one of the things I find really crazy is buying a house. Before you buy a house, you pay tax. But then after paying tax, every year you still pay property tax, right?
Yes.
And then when you now sell the house, you still pay tax again.
Yes, and
Like-
you pay to the seller also.
Like,
So
how
you
does
keep
that-
on paying.
You're always paying taxes.
A couple of more things before we forget. 2 important certificates. One is your birth certificate, and 2, if you're married, your marriage certificate. You should definitely bring in, even if you're not.
Why are you giving your marriage certificates in your home country?
Your enrollment letter from the university, if your university or college, they provide you before you arrive in Canada.
Yeah.
In some cases don't, so you just have to mention it.
Yeah.
And keep the documentation in terms of the emails that you receive, the communications that you get from your institution, so that you can show it to the CBSA officer.
Oh, a lot of times they also ask you, I remember, let me give you a story about when I got to Canada. So when I landed, of course, you need to go apply you need to get your study permit at the port of entry. That's where you get it. And you also need to get your work permit, because some people, they forget that they are supposed to get a work permit. I've heard stories of people that actually forgot, and after they had left the port of entry, they had to apply for a work permit. And that takes almost 3 to 4 months before you get it. Yes. I've heard of it before. That's why I'm mentioning it now. So right there and then, they can give you your study permit and your work permit. Now, again, there is something that people also miss, is when they are giving you, they would ask you the course you're coming to study, the school you're coming to study from. For me, I remembered the name of my school, but I completely forgot the course I was coming to study. Do you know? Because I was fidgeting, I was scared.
Yeah,
the
you get
stress-
nervous.
You get really nervous,
Yeah.
and the stress of flying for more than 12 hours into the country, like a lot of, and then back home, Nigerian, it's so easy for you to maybe you meet somebody on the airplane and you guys are vibing, you're talking, you're having conversations. They know you're also coming in as a student, so both of you right there and then you become friends.
Yeah.
But here, it's not the same.
It takes time.
It
Yeah.
takes time. You can't just meet people and then start making friends with them right there and then. So at that point when it got to my turn for the officer to attend to me, she asked me, what is the name of the course you're coming to study? Guys, I knew what I was coming to do. I remembered what I paid tuition for, but because I was fidgeting at that point in time, my mind completely wiped off. But the good part of it is the officer was very sweet to me. She said, I understand you're tensed, I understand you're nervous. And then so I remembered after almost 5 minutes, I said, oh yeah, this is what I'm meant to study, and I apologize, and they allowed me in. So you need to also be very conscious. Sometimes they would give you a work permit that would only allow you to work within your campus. So make sure that the work permits they're going to give you would allow you be eligible to work outside your school.
Off campus.
Off campus.
Yes, and read each and every part of the study/work permit.
Yeah.
Make sure that the eligibility is mentioned so that you can start working part-time or full-time depending on your case. If you get out of the airport and find out a mistake and you want to go back, you cannot.
No,
So you have to be there, read,
can't go
understand, and then get out. That's the most important part. So you receive the study permit or work permit at the port of entry while you successfully prove to the CBSA officer that you are eligible and you have the legal status eligibility. I want to share, go ahead.
One thing I also want to add to that is if you're coming into Canada with cash that is more than 10,000 Canadian dollars, when I was coming, I had to declare at the border. So if you have more than 10,000 Canadian dollars on you, you would have to declare it at the border. They would give you a form to fill and you sign on it. That way, you're transparent. But they find out that you have more than that on you, that is a legal offense. It's a serious offense that you don't get away from. Unfortunately, you don't. And did you, when you came in, when you were going to register, do your biometric and everything, the picture, the machine that is there that is taking your picture, oh my god.
That was
How
scary.
does that be? Yeah.
That was scary, and we get nervous. I mean, but I want to assure our audience that there is nothing to be nervous.
No, there are also people there to help you.
There are people to help you, and those CBS officers, they're actually, for me, in my case, they were very welcoming. They welcomed me. They said, how am I doing? They tried to relax the environment. And for me, actually, I'm still remembering that. It took about just 5 minutes for them to review my documents. And they got convinced and they gave me my study permit.
It doesn't take time as long as you don't have anything
sketchy. So that's about it.
There is this app, Arrive Canada.
Yeah.
You can also I'm not sure if that is still working, or
I think it does. So you
work,
can put your information so that
it's easier for you
for
when
for
you get
the immigration
exactly.
to happen first, and you can use Arrive Canada from your home country as well. Just fill up all your basic information, nothing fancy, and then you don't have to just do it when you are here. But if you forget to do it, don't worry, you can do it at the port of entry as well. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, do comment below or send us a message, and we will come back again with the next episode soon.
Thank you very much for joining, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.